movies that suck, but also whatever cooks. But if you give us too much shit, we'll just get pissed off and quit. So don't do it. It's time for Marvel Comics Spotlight Show, telling you everything that we know. It's time for Marvel Comics Spotlight Show. Let's go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Marvel Comics Podcast, episode 101. That is the Legacy 601. I'm here with Matt to start things off. What up, Matt?
What up, Jim?
What is up is, again, Spider-Man Wolverine. I ended up, when things come out, and I'm telling you, there might only be one Spider-Man and Wolverine team-up. It seems like in my mind there's 80. There's all these team-up books. Some are done. There's a bunch of other Deadpool stuff. All that stuff all swirls around. I don't even know what is what and whatnot, but I didn't expect it to be coming out this week. This is like a every other week schedule here, and unfortunately, I don't think Kari Andrews can follow that schedule.
No way.
With the art quality that he was doing, and we were talking before, I saw some other people say the same thing you did, that maybe, give the guy some time and then just have Kari Andrews on it. But you said maybe they just had this as, hey, Gerardo Sandoval, Gerardo, he ended up being the fill-in artist. Maybe he had it done ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even so.
It fits in with the whole art style that Kari Andrews has been doing. So
yeah, it's just not as good.
Not as good, but similar enough.
Yeah, it's similar enough. But it just, the reason why we liked the book was Kari Andrews' art, and then you take that away and it just lessens it a bit. But
absolutely,
he's supposedly back next issue, and as far as we can tell, it is an ongoing. There's not much going on. There's a lot of fights. There's these gauntlets that end up teleporting them, but then they're gone. It's a wacky book. A lot of things happen, but it's written by Mark Guggenheim. It is Gerardo Sandoval on the pencils, Victor Nava joining him for inks, Brian Reber on colors, Travis Lanham on letters. And yeah, we end up going into this, and we ended up at the last page of last issue. We were in China. The Great Wall of China was there. Doc Ock was there. I thought that it might have been Maria that they were going to save. I guess it wasn't.
It was not.
Just some rando. But I don't know. I mean, they start to attack Ock, but every time they go, they say there's a lot of like dialogue that tries to fill you in, because I don't really get a lot of things of what they're saying. Peter says at one point, every time we're about to slice and dice and actually, hit these people, we end up teleporting back to the beginning or away from them. But yet we're also teleporting all around the world. And then even in this one, you have them say, oh, we're in Rome. And I'm like, are we? Because I couldn't tell. I mean, maybe
like Colosseum or something in the background.
It's not a really great thing. Maybe you should show the Parthenon or something. You have to show something. You show the Great Wall of China when you go to China, right?
Yeah, we got that.
If you end up just showing them in the middle of China, nobody's going to know. And then it's just ruins. I just thought it was part of the Great Wall of China. They fell down and there was something else involved.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. In the meantime, Doc Ock's just talking shit. Calls Peter an insect. But there's not that much going on. It's just, again, when they end up going and like, oh, now we're in Rome, I'm like, I don't even know how they know they're in Rome, actually. If you just boom and you're in the middle of ruins, who knows? And I'm looking at it. Who knows if that's Rome? It could be Mayan ruins. It could end up being Aztec. It could be wherever. Could still be in China.
Modern day? Is it ancient Rome? Is it?
Yeah,
I guess it's modern.
It looks like modern day, but in just some ruins.
And then they go to New York.
Really
New York
yeah.
eventually.
And I think that, is it just Peter that goes to New York?
Yeah, it seems like just Peter, yeah.
Because he says, he says, that's better. They gave me the chance to help prove something to you as well. And he goes, well, who the hell's they? And Doc Ock's like, oh, sorry, I thought it was obvious. He calls himself Dread Shadow, and that's where they sent Peter back to New York, or he did. I guess he can control it. And there's this Dread Shadow. It's pretty cool with his lightsaber. I don't get what's happening. I mean, you have Doc Ock fighting Wolverine. Wolverine's all fired up. I hate to say it, I think Wolverine just slices through him.
He doesn't do anything to him, though.
No, he just kind of like at one point he hits the tentacle type things, but that doesn't do anything.
Are
then
those arms made out of adamantium? I can't remember. They might be.
He runs his claws through it at one point. He cuts them off, but it just doesn't do much. They're just yelling, and then Doc Ock just starts, choking them out. Now, in the meantime, you end up where Dread Shadow, who has a really cool look, I don't know, it starts to feel a lot like Hellgate in The Amazing Spider-Man. He's there, and they're fighting, and Peter's trying to, figure out who he is and whatnot. The big play is that he does know who Peter is. He calls him Peter, and then Peter's like, oh, my God, this isn't fair. You know who I am. What do I do? And he rips off his little mask and has no idea who it is.
He's like, I don't know who you are.
It's like Wally West in the cartoon
I was waiting for you to
Lex
say
Luthor.
that.
It's always, that's the best, when he's like, I have no idea who this is.
It's true. How would you know?
And so, he doesn't know who this guy is, but the guy certainly knows who he is. Now, looking at the art, I don't know. He kind of looks like a beefed up Peter in my mind. I don't know. Just looking at him there, he looks like Peter with a little man bun going, like Paul. Yeah. Maybe it is Paul.
That's
Who knows?
A Paul look to him.
That'd be great if it was like a multiversal Paul. That'd be pretty crazy. But you're just going and, okay, I'm reading it and I'm enjoying it enough up to this point. But when I'm reading this issue, I'm starting to hear what a lot of people were saying to me the last couple issues, because me and you have been pretty positive about this book, and everybody else I talk to, they're like, there's no story, there's nothing going on. Even when we start again, it's going to read weird in trade, because every time you start an issue, Peter does do that recap of, hey, look who I am with. I'm with the Wolverine, and he killed my parents and this, and he also stabbed me in the gut. That's going to end up getting a bit annoying in the trade. But in the meantime, what does really happen in this issue? Up until this point, they're just fighting. Now, in that, you end up where Peter, I actually thought he was just going to get destroyed, but he ends up getting away.
Yep.
And he says, well, luckily, fortunately, he says, which I can't say much. It was a weird way to say it, but he goes to the Baxter building.
Just flies right in an open window.
And at this point, he says, okay, I got to do something. He's got to get these gauntlets off. They're just being thrown around the world with these gauntlets, but why aren't they activating them now? He does kind of hit this guy, but it seems like he could probably, every villain seems to have the switch to do it. Peter goes, I would just hit it to make him either come back or go back to China, whatever it would be. But Peter just kind of zips away because he punched this guy in the face once? This guy's pretty tough and pretty big. And he's like, oh, and he grabs his head. Peter then goes off. He goes into the Baxter building. He talks to the AI. He's all these things. I'm like, it's taking way too long. Why aren't they pressing the button?
He tinkers with it for a little bit, pops it off.
He tinkers a little. He then pops it up. But again, I would think also that they would have anything in there that if you start tinkering, it would send you somewhere, because if you're tinkering somewhere, then that means you're somewhere that you can just send them back to China or something. But they don't. And then he gets it off. And you have a little bit of talk, and you have, Mr. Fantastic Reed, he's not in this plane of existence. And
is this kind of a nod to the first issue of Spider-Man where he goes into
which was funny, because where they didn't have a nod for that was the One World Under Doom, the actual issue where Ryan North, who wrote the Fantastic Four, didn't even reference it. Reed was back, so it's just a weird deal. But Reed's off. And again, when you read it later, you're not even going to have to know it. They don't even reference. There's no asterisks and editors.
Oh, you're assuming this is tied into One World Under Doom?
No, I'm just saying that they just said that as just a lame thing because he's always in some other existence.
Somewhere else,
If you're at this current continuity, you could say it's because of that first issue, which does tie into One World Under Doom. That was a tie-in, so it's very odd. But Wolverine's there with. It's so funny that he's there with Doc Ock. I'm like, he's just going to destroy Doc Ock.
It's so weird to see Wolverine with Doc Ock. It just seems so out of context.
Now, and he says, oh, he was right. This was so much more delicious than simply killing him. I'm like, it's too much. I'm telling you, Wolverine is in my mind, he would just destroy, just
look how
rip
big he
apart.
Is too.
Oh, just, those ears, the crazy, because then Peter comes back then. and gets them and says, okay, I have a way I can take off these gauntlets. But what is that going to do? How does that work? And how are they going to continue on the series? Again, we're already this many issues and they're just jumping around. So
it's going to really, for me, it's really going to depend on how they start the next arc. Like, what is it? Like,
yeah, because at this point, Peter goes, he pops them off of Wolverine, or he's trying to, and then all of a sudden somebody shows up and he's like, oh my God, not her. It's Teresa. It's his sister who shows up, and we were looking it up and we couldn't. I said, I remember something where she showed up and I was talking. You said, I think it was with Brandon way back, and it must have been, it was during Nick Spencer's run with that stupid clairvoyant story. Mm-hmm. It was wacky. I remember Brandon losing his mind, but you end up where Teresa shows up. She has claws on, which she then slices Wolverine. Then she says, I have a gun that ends up having these bullets that will really just, take you. It's from the Muramasa blade, and I'm going to shoot you and they will kill you, and all because you killed our parents. And I'm like, here we go.
Wolverine looks pissed that she slashed him.
Oh God, he's got holes in him, slashes. He's in big trouble. Again, it looks pretty cool. And I don't know, this whole thing seems like it is like, all right, well, we're going to play the guest of the week it is, because it's not even the month. The guest of every other week, or, the hero or villain of the month club. And Teresa showing up is crazy. Her saying that, she's seen the same things that Peter saw, so she's there to kill Wolverine. Now, Peter's going to have to save Wolverine, even though he wants to kill him, but he kind of now will probably realize, okay, this is bull crap, and he didn't do it, but we'll see. We'll see. But
that last page is cool, though.
I mean, most Wolverine. Of it. But what else is there to talk about? It's like I think last issue we talked like 40 minutes. Now we get to this and we're done in 10 minutes because there's just not much else happening except big fights.
I wasn't expecting to see Teresa. She's like a spy type person.
Yeah, yeah. That's why it shows. And remember, the whole thing was they have that dossier that's been let out that would end up, doxing a lot of the spies and all that. So she would definitely know about it and would definitely go check it out, I'm sure, because she is a spy like her parents. So you got that going on. But there's Peter, who's probably like, oh, no, now I have to say Wolverine, but here's my sister. And oh, God. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if it's legit. I still don't think Wolverine didn't. And even if he did, he didn't mean to and didn't really have his sane mind with him. But in the meantime, you have Doc Ock just in China. And then in Rome, and then back to China. It's very odd. But what would you give it?
I mean, I've been enjoying this. Like you said, I think I've been like an 8.5 maybe for a lot of these. I think I just give this one a 6.5. I think
I'm a 6.5 as well. Yeah, this was a bit of a downswing.
It's very fast. It's not the same level that we've been getting. Not to say the art's bad or anything. It's just we were sold on Kari Andrews. I mean,
yeah, and then
part of the package
even
deal.
When we go back and we want to see this Dread Shadow, who for some reason I want to call him Doomstrike, but Dread Shadow, pretty cool. But even then, you just kind of get Peter going back and forth. He knows Peter's identity, and then Peter just just rakes his eyes and runs away. And I thought that was odd because he has a cool design. Looks like it'd be something cool in like an adventure role playing game. This guy. Would be pretty neat.
What else are you going to talk about here? Like after what other issues that came out this week?
I don't even know. There was the Predator kills all the Marvel universe.
That might be interesting.
Daredevil.
Daredevil's always good. Carnage. You've been talking about that one, right?
Carnage. Yeah, those are the three I asked Gray.
I heard Gray chirping up about the Disney stuff too. He was talking about that.
Yeah, there's the Scrooge one, the Scrooge deal, but I kind of glanced at it, but we'll see. We'll see what we go on with because we got to find something. Me and you didn't talk about hardly anything, but that's it for us.
I mean, you can read it for yourself, people. It's pretty quick.
It's very quick. Me and you are actually going off just to throw in a bit of a commercial here because we don't usually mention a lot of the Patreon on the Marvel side of things, but me and you are going off to continue our coverage of the Daredevil Born Again. In our event podcast that we're doing, and Matt is a little upset, thinks it's overrated.
I do.
I remember reading it when I first read it. I really liked it, but it did get at points. There's a couple issues to get a little kind of not a slog, but a bit just the over narration and stuff like that. But it is from the past, so we'll go off and do that. But if you want to hear us do that and a bunch of things, we've done like 150 episodes of our what's it called? Our events podcast, or events and big books podcast, we could call it. But yeah, that's over at the Patreon, patreon.com/weird science. But we'll go off, hopefully. There's always the chance that Gray's busy this week.
I know.
We done. So
That's
we
what I
will
was
see.
thinking.
We shall see, but hopefully we'll be going on. Me and Gray talking a couple books. And I am, in fact, joined by my man, Gray. What up, Gray?
What up, Jim? How's it going? Dare I even ask?
It's great. I ended up falling through our basement stairs. I say falling through, and legit, the stair just broke, and I just fell through an open crevasse, it seemed. Luckily, I landed on the cat bed. Unfortunately, the cat bed doesn't have much bedding, and it's just on concrete, and I had flooring, and I got meself in me nuggets, as they say in the UK. I ended up, I thought I broke my ankle, but none of that happened. I'm good to go. But it did take me a little bit to recover, and I think I'm going to be hurting tomorrow. But we're here to do 2 books. We're going to start with Daredevil, and me, you, and Dr. Matt, we like Daredevil. I think we're one of the few that actually do like the Saladin Ahmed run enough. I mean, that first story went way too long.
It did.
Mushroom Man started out pretty good. It didn't end great. And in fact, if we go by the covers, it looked like it was cut short, maybe cut at the knees when the whole run was canceled. And we're aware that it's canceled. I want to point that out because when Matt was on the Weird Dose of X with Ruben, and I will hit, I think I have that.
Ruben.
He ended up where he said, I think Ruben asked him, what books are you enjoying? And Matt said, I actually do like the Saladin Ahmed Daredevil enough. And when it went up on YouTube, people were giving him crap. And
no way.
Well, first off, they were like, well, people like, I don't know why. I think that if you're going to complain about this run of anything, it's just kind of, maybe it just fades away. It's a little uneventful because of that long thing. But people like to yell about it. And I don't get that.
I think people have problems with Saladin Ahmed for some reason, don't they? And it's like, even if they're not reading it, it's like, oh, he's on that book, so it must suck.
Well, I'll tell you, not to go full out, hate and whatever and giving people credence or not. But the idea that Saladin Ahmed is not Catholic and he's writing a Catholic character, I think they had a problem. But yet, I think that Saladin Ahmed has made him a little too Catholic at points. Like, if that's possible,
it's gone really religious, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like hinging a little too much on that. That's why you had that problem at the beginning when he ended up having the 7 deadly sins, which I will, again, rest on my laurels and Matt's. That I said to Matt after that first or second issue, these are the 7 deadly sins. This isn't just a demon, and it looks like people were saying it was anti-Semitic and things like that because they were waiting for Saladin Ahmed to kind of show that, but he didn't. And it was the 7 deadly sins. I argued with a guy for like 3 weeks. The guy never did apologize. Imagine that. Nowadays, people not apologizing, but
really?
I was right. Yeah. So when you end up where Matt said that he liked it, some guy was like, oh, this idiot doesn't know that it's canceled. Well, just because it's canceled doesn't mean you can't enjoy it, right? And some things have been canceled that didn't deserve it. Some things canceled that do. I don't know that this needed to go on for that much longer. I'm not going to say that I'm going to be pining for it, but it's kind of a shame. I think that first
25 issues, Jim. It's quite a good run, isn't it, these days,
Yeah. I mean, here's the deal. That's 2.5 Alyssa Wong series. Oh, poor Alyssa Wong. But here we go. Here is Daredevil. Again, I just want to let people know that I'm sure there'll be somebody, why are they covering this? It's ending and stuff like that. But we've actually enjoyed it enough. And this issue, it's okay. It ends up setting some things up. It ends up reminding you of some things, stopping things, especially when you start out with his girlfriend and stuff. But we'll see. We'll also get Elektra and then the return of somebody big. But it is Daredevil number 24. Rights of Reconciliation, Saladin Ahmed writing, Jose Luis Suarez on pencils, Oren Jr., or Junior, maybe on inks, Jesus Urbatoff on colors and VCs, Clayton Cowles on letters. It is kind of funny that somebody that you could actually say his first name is Jesus is writing the Daredevil deal, who has a lot of Catholic guilt going on.
Those names, I've got to say, I'm impressed.
and then I have to ruin it by saying, Jesus. Urbatoff. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Can I just say about the cover, because someone was talking about this in the Slack, I've got to say, Johnny Romita Jr., mate, come on. What are you doing? Was this a rush job by any chance?
Here's the thing is, There are times, I've mentioned this before. There was a time when my band, we ended up doing this like demo, right? And it was bad. We did this demo. It was so bad. It really was. It was bad. We got better, but we did. And the guy who recorded it, the guy at the studio, was really adamant about like, listen, don't put my name on this. I don't want my name attached to this. And I'm like, why would John Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna even sign this? It's so bad. Those legs. Holy moly.
His left leg. What's happened to him?
I don't know. I think that we're back to the 7 deadly sins because I think that's famine. I mean, somebody get him a sandwich.
Jesus
guy. Holy moly. It's his high fashion modeling. You can only eat like a mint. Remember, there was some model, might have been like back in the day, like Naomi Campbell, or like those sort of models.
Kate Moss.
I think it might have been actually Kate Moss, who they said, "Oh, what's your diet?" And she's like, "Well, every other day I have a mint." And they're like, "What?" And she meant a Tic Tac. That's all she had.
No.
Holy moly.
Impossible.
And then probably ended up, trying to purge herself of the Tic Tac. But there's no way that I would sign this. Look at that leg. Holy moly.
It's a really clear signature as well for once, isn't it? It's
big. That's what's weird. It's like, that looks like it's like personally signed with a Sharpie there. The background looks okay.
Yeah.
He looks ridiculously just ridiculous. Ridiculously ridiculous. But the art by Jose Luis Suarez is pretty good.
I like it. Interior art's, really good.
Yeah, and you start out, and again, you're going to have Matt break up with his girlfriend break up with him, and Nyla ends up just saying, listen, I can't give you what you need. You can't give me what I need. I can tell that you want somebody else. I'll always think of you with a smile. All these things going on. But remember what it was. It was him just leaving to be Daredevil.
Yeah.
It wasn't him, cheating or whatever. You play the idea that she can
living
sense.
2 lives. He was.
Yeah, she could. Remember at one point he left, and then when he came back, she freaked out in a weird way that didn't seem like I woke up, but he left while they were eating dinner. Remember, he's just like, I gotta get going. And then when he came back, she's like, I knew you snuck out. We're like, no, he didn't sneak out. He was trying to maybe sneak back in, but yeah, she ends up where she's like, listen, you're gonna have to go. I don't even know what that is. What does she have? Like an EGOTS award there and maybe a crystal ball. I don't know what she's doing with that shit on the table. That might be a snow globe. Anybody really own a snow globe? Because I've never. But she's like, I'll remember you with a smile. And he's like, whatever. And just leaves. Like there's not even a fight. He doesn't even say, no, it's fine. Like this or that. He's just
already
like
walking out the door.
I know. And like she's not even done talking. And he's already out.
But it was nice to see that, she's like, no regrets. I'm not sorry for anything. We had a great time, Jim. We did.
Oh, yeah. That was the funny thing.
That was
she's
nice.
Like, we did rock the bed headboard.
Oh, we did.
So with that, oh, my goodness, Greg. The idea, though, I think that the problem is, if this wasn't canceled, I do not think they were going to be broken up. And I think it shows, selling the meds, just having them, because unfortunately the run's going to end. So he doesn't want them to leave on bad terms because he actually may have wanted them to be together. So he's like, well, in a different life, it would have worked or whatever. He goes out and he ends up sensing that there's some trouble. He ends up hearing a bunch of thugs who are beating up a guy. And lo and behold, it just happens to be the priest from the
who is it? Father Javi or Zavi?
Javi. And Chavi, yeah. And I was trying to think of exactly what it was, but they do mention it.
He looked like somebody else, didn't it, initially, Jim? When you see him being attacked by the thugs, it's like, who's this guy? Who's this bald guy? And
yeah, that's like, it. Did look weird from behind. Yeah, he looked like some crazy, hooligan. But it is St. Nick's. I couldn't remember the St. Nick's. So Daredevil comes down and, he hits a guy, he punches another guy, he kicks the guy. The guy's like, my damn dislocated shoulder. And he's like, I told you this was a bad idea. I'm like, if I was the other guy, I'm like, listen, I know you told me it was a bad idea, but I was not counting on Daredevil showing up or I wouldn't have done it. Like the idea, let's get that guy. That's a bad idea. Normally it probably wouldn't be, even though there's a ton of people walking around and they see it. But you end up where Daredevil's like, okay. And he's like, hey, he goes to get him. But then he gets stopped and say, what's going on? Don't do this. And you even have, he's like, where do you think you're going? And the guy says, leave them be. They won't try this crap again. They're just desperate. And then you see who it is. And I'm with you. I didn't think that behind the scene deal looked anything like him. And that's where you end up where he's like, oh, hey, Javi, I mean, father. Okay.
Oops.
Yeah. And he's like,
I don't know you really.
Hey, how the kids doing and stuff. And again, he wants to know how the kids are. There's not enough time, I don't think, to really, go and see him, whatever. So this is nice of him to say, oh, they're pretty good. Hey, they've been okay since I last saw you. I think that just ties it up so that somebody doesn't say, man, Matt didn't even give a shit about these kids. He didn't even go check them at the end. And so he's walking, and then he's like, hey, maybe I'll see you later, and maybe, we can get together.
Don't be a stranger.
Have another talk. Yeah, basically that. It really was nothing. You could tell it's just there, so you're like, okay, well, we'll put that away. Then we go, and I don't know why, when his phone rang, somehow I didn't get it, and I thought he was the one who was calling somebody. I don't know why, because he's like, it's like, I've sent you an address, meet me there. I just thought after this he went. And then when he got there, I thought, wait a minute, it was Electra calling.
I just want to know where he keeps
why.
his phone, Jim, in that skin-tight costume. That's what I want to know.
I want to know, too. That thing probably has a little stank to it. He goes, and then I want to know where Electra keeps hers as well. Holy moly. Like, he goes over to Electra, not hiding. I mean, they're like in an alley, maybe, but they're just kind of hanging. And she's like, hello, Matthew. And hey, it sounded urgent. It was. This is business, though. Remember what I said? And he's like, yeah, I know. And he says, I was just trying to. And she says, no, it's good. It's what I asked for. Because he does love her. And Nyla ends up saying, somebody's there.
I know there's somebody else.
Somebody else. Yeah. So again, a little forced, because at this moment he is trying to not get involved with that. But all this is, and she's just like, oh, and by the way, here's a guy who I don't even know how to describe this. I mean, this is one of the most horrific things I've seen. It looks like it's on like an old EC horror comic of a zombie gone wrong. This guy's face is completely melted.
Creepy or eerie or even weird science,
like one
Jim.
of those.
No
yeah,
way.
Exactly. That's what it looks like, though, right? I mean, it is bad.
It's gross.
It is gross. This guy's face is completely melded. And they're like, oh, looks like somebody found this guy first. And these are these people they've been going after. There's a lot of things being tied in, but the idea of like, all right, I see the guy's melting, whatever, but what's up with the ray gun? Like, are you going to grab that? Are you going to do anything?
He's got a ray gun there,
I mean, look at that thing. It's humongous. And they're like, nah, just look at this guy. And I'm telling you, I would vomit if I was there. It's so bad. And they kind of glance at that. And then just move on to the chastening of the Almighty. That's written in
the chastening,
blood.
it is.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
the window.
It's written on the window, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is pretty crazy." Do you
that's
think
meant to be written in blood? Why is it orange, Jim, or orangey yellow? It's a bit weird.
The idea that what they say later is, "Oh, it's written in somebody else's blood." The person who wrote it, I'm like, why is he doing that? When we find out, and I guess we can spoil it. It ends up being Kingpin who seems to be doing this. Kingpin's
that is strange.
But why is he writing shit in his own blood? He doesn't have to do that. These guys have plenty of blood.
Actually, I missed that. I made a mistake. It said it's being cut into the glass in this one, the chastening or chasing of the Almighty.
Yeah. But again, why and how did it get that thing? But he ends up where they're doing this and they say, oh, that was pretty brutal. Do you think it's Taskmaster? I'm like, no, I don't think so. They're like, I don't think Taskmaster would do this.
Does he melt people's faces?
Yeah,
Taskmaster?
I mean, but that's the thing is, if you're going to sit there and start guessing, and they're going to guess, do you think it was Taskmaster? I don't know. It doesn't seem like his thing. It's not really a profit thing. I don't think I go as far as saying I think it's Kingpin either. Kingpin, I could see breaking a neck or throwing somebody off a building, something like that. Now, when Kingpin did leave, it was a very kind of religious thing. Remember, he kind of found God and left, and now he's back, and that might be, pretty much the play. But I didn't think like 1 + 1 = 2 of, oh my God, it's the Kingpin. I guess it's supposed to be a surprise, but to me, it's out of left field. And when that's happening, it's not really a mystery. It's just, a surprise MacGuffin type of thing. But we'll see by the end. And it's kind of cool, end with Kingpin, then he's back. And he's been gone a while since the Zdarsky deal. So, yeah, and then he became a mutant. That was weird shit. He was on Krakow and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Really?
It was very odd.
Like,
the last thing I remember, he got in that boat and he sailed away. Or he wanted people to come with him. Yeah, exactly. So he's like, everybody, you end up where it's like, hey, we got to get moving. And so they kind of just like, I know where to go. They go into this bar and just walk in.
The bar with no name, Jim. Famous.
And it plays out. It's almost to me like it's like 48 Hours when Eddie Murphy goes in and he puts the guy's hat on. And he's like, because they're just there to fight. They want to find things, but they walk in and say, hey, and you have Daredevil, good people. We're here for information on Taskmaster and his client Nouvelle Direction. But again, they already know it wasn't Taskmaster. So they're trying to figure out and say, and then Elektra says,
it was weird him saying good people. That kind of got me, but anyway,
exactly. Yeah. So he's like, and then Elektra says, and we're not feeling particularly patient. So Wrecker comes in and it's humongous. He comes
Jim, how
in.
weird is this? Did this surprise you? Because what happened to Daredevil's radar senses, folks? He smacks him from behind.
Hits him. There is no way he's surviving this. This, first off, I don't know what happened. Maybe somebody can fill me in. But at one point, and I think it was in the King in Black, but it might have been another. It was an event where Wrecker legit had a magic, like a deal. It was his crowbar was magic. It ended up being, it was a Thor thing. You ended up having this crazy magical thing that he was actually opening up. I think he was trying to get Conchu out at one. It was crazy. And so I guess that's not the case now, but that thing is huge. And he ends up hitting Matt, and I don't know how Matt's back doesn't just break. And then Elektra starts fighting. There's weird things, and I think there is a bunch of things where art doesn't play out with the story. At one point, Elektra slashes Wrecker. There's blood on her she says, better yet, bleed me one. Where did he get cut? Because I do not see a cut. She cuts him in the, I don't know. She cuts him in the chest or the abdomen. Yeah. He does not have a cut and he's not bleeding. He ends up where he's just yelling and screaming. He says, that hurt, lady, but not as much as it's going to hurt you. But there's nothing. Yeah. There's nothing there. Then he ends up, you're slowing down, sweetheart. I'm
just getting started.
Hateful. And again,
it's great art, Jim, by the way, even though they missed that cut.
There ain't no cut or bleeding going on. We'll talk about that later, because then pretty much it just ends up being, okay, Elektra, you dodge and I will beat the living crap out of him, because I can sense that I hear a popping in his wrist, which means that he has some ligament damage. He had some problems before. This is probably also because he's got this huge ass, crazy pry crowbar. So he's like, I'm just going to break his wrist, which he does. And then they just kind of like, hey, what's going on? And then they legit just beat the living crap out of him.
Beat him senseless. Well, not quite senseless, just until he's had enough. Okay, I'll talk.
He's like, I had enough, I'll talk, but they don't tell me jack. I'm just a hired gun, same as Tasky. They made us sign all this crap saying we're contractors, not employees. Basically, what he's saying is, I don't know shit. He doesn't tell him anything. He ends up saying there's a contract, and they get caught up in the idea. Criminals with an HR department? Yeah, I wish I could say that's a new one, but it isn't. And then they move on. But again, I'm not thinking right then, oh, it's Kingpin. I'm just like, what? What's going on? And why is he bleeding?
First, you're going to, and then there's a huge scream. You've been there. Very, very conveniently timed.
Yeah, really.
What's this?
Again, Wrecker's gone. He's now skedaddling. They go out. There is legit the guy that they're looking for, and they say, another display. I can smell blood mingling with marrow dust, and good Lord, is that a railroad spike? My radar's hitting. That's from Daredevil, obviously. So this guy is, 3 feet in the air with a railroad spike through his heart that is so embedded that it's through his whole body and embedded in the brick wall, so that he is
to the wall.
It's pinning him to the wall.
Unbelievable.
So Elektra goes over, and they're like, "Oh my God, that was Monsieur Le Digue head of Nouvelle
I was like,
Directions. Again, there was a lot in this where I couldn't remember some of this stuff. And one, she's like,
I couldn't.
I went to the French toast. But you end up where she then goes over. This guy is legitimately hanging in the air, pinned to the wall with a spike that is obviously causing a lot of bleeding. There's blood behind him. There is blood coming out his chest. So she goes over and says, oh, look, the guy was strangled to death. Well, that's fine. She says he was strangled by someone massive, but he has no open wounds. Bullshit. He has a huge open wound. He has a railroad spike through his chest, possibly through his heart, that is and pinning him to a wall. And there's blood everywhere. And she goes, so where did that blood come from? And I was so confused of the idea.
Wonder.
Don't
Where,
you
Jim?
see? Don't you? I think it came from it. There's just blood. He's got a railroad spike
and
through
his
him.
back. Yeah, probably his nose, his
a
ears,
railroad
everywhere.
spike. It's everywhere. He is bloody as hell, and he's pinned to a wall with a spike. And she says there's no blood, that it's only him being strangled. And I'm like, what is happening?
That's a weird line. Doesn't fit the art, does
chastening
it?
of the Almighty is written in blood on the wall this time. And so the whole play is whose blood is it? But I don't get it. And then you have Matt where he tastes it. He's like, let me taste the hepatitis right here. He starts smelling the blood and he's like, uh-oh, Kingpin's blood. I'm like, okay, I know you.
I know this
super
blood. I've
senses,
spilled it
but
often enough.
Yeah. I'm like, did you sniff it and lick it? It's too much.
Also, Electra says, like, I know that handwriting. She knows the chastening of the Almighty's handwriting.
That's the classic. That's the classic joke when somebody comes out. It's like a Christmas joke where somebody's peed in the snow, like you suck, and they're like, I recognize that handwriting. There's some weird joke. Now, granted, here's my point. If I know that Matt has super senses, right? But if somebody guts me and guts you, I don't know that our blood smells that much different. I don't know that you could say, okay, that's Gray's blood. It smells Japanese / Manchester. I don't think that's the case. But even if you could, then to recognize handwriting that is blood being written on the wall, you're not exactly using a Bic pen. You're just like, painting it with your fingers. It's not going to be the same as
big
handwriting.
writing as well, with big letters in it. I don't know what you used to write it with.
I love it if you see that now we realize that Kingpin, all the contracts and everything he does, he just dips his hand right into the inkwell and just starts finger painting shit all over the place because they recognize his handwriting. It's very pushed. It's very much when you then turn the page, because at this point they're talking in the way that it seems like it's revealed already. Like, well, we should know. No way, your face. It's Kingpin. And at the end, I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem like anything Kingpin would do. The murders and the way of doing the blood doesn't seem like Kingpin, but they might explain that he's come back a little weird or whatnot, but I don't know. It just felt weird. It felt weird by the end. It didn't feel like it was like, oh my God, yeah, that makes sense. Kingpin. I'm like, all right, we'll see what that happens. I still like the issue enough. And I like that you kind of put some things aside. Some of the things I was like, I don't know, this Monsieur, railroad spike. I don't know what I'm going to call him. Monsieur Spike.
No idea.
He's there on the wall, but I can deal with it. But what would you give it?
Let's see. I'm going to go for a straight 7, Jim. 7 out of 10 from me.
Yeah, I'll go 6-8. A little bit lower, but
There's no critic reviews on CBR for this either. There's one user review, but no critics.
What was the
Daredevil,
user review?
7.5 from the guy who gives everything 10s, that Dave, DSG guy.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah. So that means that's a 5 out of 10 from us, isn't it? It's 7.5 for him.
7.5 from that guy is like a -3. Like that's a scathing review by that guy. But we'll move on and do this next one real quick.
Let's do it.
Predator kills the Marvel Universe. Benjamin Percy writing. I will have to yield a bit to Jason. I think that there was actually a bit of Ben Percy humor in this. I thought that there was slight humor that I did chuckle a little. I was like, man, but I think that he can only do humor when there's straight up murdering going on. But pencils by Marcelo Ferreira and Danielle Picciotto.
Ooh.
Inks by Jay Leiston and Daniel Picciotto. And I don't know if I'm saying, I don't think I'm saying that right. Colors by Frank DeMarta and letters by PC's Clayton Coles. This ties into all the other Predator versus Spider-Man, Predator versus Wolverine, Predator, all that stuff. I haven't really loved a lot of the stuff. I think that a lot of the stuff didn't feel very inspired. I thought that some of it was pretty damn lame. I like this. This is actually like, this could have just been what it was, where you're just going to have these predators led by, or at least aided by Kraven.
Yeah.
Just rip through
That's cool
some
about
big
it.
things. And so when you have it.
It could have been a one shot, couldn't it, Jim? Don't you think? It could have worked just a one and done.
And I think that what gets you in this is we're finally getting to the point where you realize, okay, this is definitely, I mean, obviously it's Predator, so it's out of continuity. Let's play with that. You have some vicious deaths in this.
Oh my God, they don't hold back, do they? And it's not a red band issue either. It just says parental advisory on the cover, that's all.
These are major characters.
Oh,
that
yeah.
end up getting, I mean, we'll say it was Guardians of the Galaxy and the Fantastic Four straight up dead in this issue. That's huge, especially kind of funny. And I do think, I'll tell you where there's some humor, and the humor is hilarious if it's meant to be, and it's in a bit of art as well. But we'll get to that. I'll point that out, because what we do start out with is the Guardians of the Galaxy just traveling around. They end up getting a distress signal and go to help. There's a tie-in with a Stark deal, and it's this sort of, and it actually, did it feel more to you like an Aliens thing than a Predator at the beginning?
Yeah, it did, especially with this opening.
Yeah, the opening felt like almost like, oh God, we're going to get some aliens in this shit. I mean, it really felt like an alien story, but it ended up being the Predator deal, but it was also with Kraven and stuff like that. But they end up where the ship
I like the way
has
Peter Quill
distress.
says he's snoring in his chair, isn't he? And Rocket Raccoon's really pissed off.
Look
like,
at him. I mean, and he
Earth
is like
to Quill.
And some of this was pretty fun.
It is. There's good banter between them.
Yeah, I actually did. I never thought that I would want Ben Percy to maybe write the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it was kind of cool. And they end up, hey, we're heading back to Earth. We're doing our thing, whatever. But there's a distress signal. Maybe we should help. And they're like, well, I guess. And they end up going. And they're like, okay, yeah. And they want to dock. And you know that it's sus. You know there's going to be things. But I actually thought, again, maybe we're going to get a weird thing with aliens in it. But
it's a mining ship, Jim. It's like belongs to Stark Industries, so you got a connection there, haven't you, with Iron Man? So okay, it's Tony Stark.
And
is it?
They start playing with it. Yeah, and they start playing with, oh, this guy, I hate that guy, whatever. And they go, and even when they go, Drax is there, and it's classic: Gamora, Drax, Groot, Rocket, and Peter. And Drax is like, I need to kill something. And they're like, no, I don't think so. It was a stress signal. Everybody chill out. We're just going to figure out
That's
what
boring
this
and
is.
stupid, like you.
Yeah, and they said,
that's a good line.
Exactly, yeah, because he says, it looks like a mechanical problem equivalent of a flat tire. And he's like, that's boring and stupid, like you. He's so upset. So they go out, and they're just walking through the deal, and you're like, okay, how is this going to play out? Well, suddenly you end up seeing the markers, the deal from the
What's going on with Peter
gun.
Quill, Jim, his expression? I thought he'd fallen asleep again.
Oh, my God. It looks like he's like either that or he's like Nick Rivers from the that Val Kilmer Top Secret. Like he's just dancing like he's Elvis or something. It's a crazy look.
Oh.
But he ends up where Rocket realizes what it is at the last second. He goes, what the? And he goes, oh, my God, Quill. Peter gets completely lasered in half.
It gets blown in half.
It is bad.
Innards are flying. Bones are flying everywhere.
Oh, my God. It's awful. It's awful. And Rocket sees it and then freaks out. He starts running.
He's crying as well as in tears.
Yeah, I mean, he's upset. Quill is dead. There's no doubt about it. And so then as Rocket's going, I'm like, okay, well, maybe this will be the play. It's crazy. Quill dies, but they'll end up doing something here. They'll get out so they can warn Earth. They could do this, whatever. And then the whole team just gets ripped apart. I mean, Drax gets beheaded. I don't know what happens to Groot actually destroys Groot. You know what I mean? Like the way that Groot is,
half, doesn't it?
It gets cut in half, but he could
Gamora
kind of
loses an arm.
Gamora loses an arm. You would think that she's gonna, have some problems, obviously, by the end. But then you end up seeing that it is Kraven with the Yachtja, the Predators.
I have no idea how you pronounce them, Jim. I've always wanted to ask you.
I was just making that up. I think that might be. So you end up where, they're all freaking out. Half of them are dead. And then that's where you see and Kraven's like the great hunt begins. And it does tie you in a bit if you do read the recap. If you didn't read, especially, really, it seems that really you just have to read the Spider-Man one.
Yeah.
That's what leads into this. That's where Kraven ends up killing the Skinner, the rogue, crazy ass, serial killer predator. And then he gets marked as worthy by the Predators. Now he's involved. At one point, I thought he got killed because they were kind of messing with him. I think that he might end up at the end, maybe either turning on the Predators. They're not. I think Kraven thinks they think of him as clan and family. I don't think they do. I think that they're using him.
They respect me because I'm a real hunter, like them.
They did mark him. They gave him the mark, but I still think they're duping his ass. But you end up then with that you're like, okay, at that point, we're what? I think we're like 6 pages in, 3 even, whatever it would be. When we hit the credits page, I actually think that I've enjoyed those first pages more than I've enjoyed any of the Ben Percy Predator tie-ins that we've had yet. I think that was what that's what I've been waiting for. I think that it was cool as hell. The only thing that I did like a little bit, probably as equal or close to it, was when we had the Wolverine, but it was when we had the Weapon X guys.
Yeah, and they were cool.
That felt a lot like part of that, legit Predator. But I didn't really like anything.
I tell you what, Jim, there's more emotion for me in one page here where Quill and Rocky, Quill gets killed and Rocky's reaction. There's more emotion in that than I think most recent Marvel comics.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I actually was shocked because I ended up where even Matt said, hey, I was going to suggest that we do the Predator kills the Marvel Universe, but I figure you and Gray would do it. And he just kind of said, it's probably bullcrap anyway. And I said, yeah, it probably is. So when I went to go read it, I was not expecting that I would enjoy it. And I did. That first part was like a great cold open. It felt like a movie. It felt like a really good start. And just imagine if they could do something like this, where get all the actors and things like that in a kind of a what if type of deal.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
Just imagine if you started and it was like a secret, like nobody knew. And Guardians of the Galaxy movie, oh my God, they just ripped apart.
You're like, the first 5 minutes, you what?
Yeah. So then you go, and again, I thought that then I would lose interest because then we go to Weapon Plus facility in Virginia, and you end up having Charlotte Pett come in to ask around because this Weapons Plus deal, they've been doing experiments on things and nothing's really come about, and they're there to check in. I really love the way that this started. I thought Ben Percy did a great job when you have the Charlotte say, hi, I'm General Charlotte Pett. Thank you for accommodating my request. He goes, this guy goes, oh, it's a request. Well, if that's the case, get the freak out of here because I'm busy. And she's like, no, it was an order.
I thought it was a command.
I really liked the way that he said that to kind of throw shade. Like, I don't want any parts of this, but I thought I had to. And so they're going to go in. Old General Charlotte's in for some problems because, again, he's like, oh, we want to show you what we've been working on. Opens up this door. She walks in. He closes the door, and there's a Weapon X Predator, Predator X, which probably does tie into the first bit with Wolverine and all that. And even that, I was like, holy crap. Like, there's another cliffhanger right in the beginning of the book. Right. I'm like, that is pretty cool. So then we go from there. And what I like about it is there are plenty of books that will jump back and forth and do all these crazy things, right? You'll go back. Yeah. We don't have to go back to that yet. The idea of Predator X here, we have to wait until next issue. I think it's a good play because there's tons of shit happening in this that are balls to the wall, because then we go to the Dark Side of the Moon, which I think it was Brett Booth that was complaining the one day that there really isn't a Dark Side of the Moon, but they always use it. But you end up then where, I don't know, it looks like a flying castle / pyramid / maybe.
It looks a bit weird, doesn't it, Jim?
It looks like a Swiss chalet.
Yeah.
It does not look like
a piece of Toblerone, that fancy Swiss chocolate that no one likes.
Mom, I'll tell you, you say that, I was just going to tell you, my son Logan might be the biggest fan of Toblerone.
Oh, no way.
Oh, my God. I'll tell you, too.
I'm glad to hear someone likes it.
Oh, I would say to him, like, dude, can't you like cheap chocolate? Like, holy moly, this thing. We would go and we'd get it at BJ's, and there was like a pack of like 6 of them. It was like $22 I'd get for him. but he loved them. He thought they were great. I think he just liked snapping off the little pieces of it or something.
That's the best part about it.
And he actually would let it last. If it's me, I'm just eating the whole thing in one night. But they land this weird chalet. I mean, it does not look like a rocket or any sort of thing, but he ends up landing, and it might be classic. And that's where, again, you see Kraven, and this is where you see that he's still being tested. Says that he's been with them for like a year and working some things through or whatnot, but they're still like, hey, you got to learn. I think that he would have learned to kneel to the king before.
I know this is weird. We get to meet the Predator King, Jim. I had no idea they had a king.
Yeah, and then they had the one with the vibranium. Like, all this stuff ties into all the things that was the Black Panther
I didn't read
one.
the Black Panther one, so I kind of missed out on that.
It ended up weird. It ended up where that was the one that you had the fully mechanical one that didn't think he was worthy, and then they showed that the vibranium was there and stuff like that. But end up, I don't know how Kraven survives. It looks like he's being blasted fully in the back, and it's like
it does.
There should be an exit wound, but there isn't. He like learns his lesson. You have to bow. You have to kneel. I'm like, that's a crazy lesson, but we'll give it to you. And then he says, listen, you end up, and even in the beginning, it did say that it was a weird play. Ben Percy played a little I Don't Have Greta, but it was like almost like a global warming comment, but not, and then felt weird. But it said at the one point, the predators like it hot, and it's been hot on Earth because of the global warming. So they're ready to go. And then that's where Kraven says, hey, you want to have all these hunts? Well, there's plenty of characters that you can go and hunt. You can take them all down. I would probably guess if I was Kraven or the Predators, I'd immediately take Thor off this list. I don't think that they have what it takes to go against the freaking guy.
No,
they're Predators. Not. I get it. They're really good hunters. But again, you're almost showing that Kraven is kind of somewhat of an equal to him. Kraven is not taking down Thor. There is
even Iron Man, Jim, with all his tech. They couldn't. I don't think they could take him down.
Hulk might be a fun thing to try to go after, but I think Hulk's destroying him as well. We could just sit here with all of them and sit there. Who would win? Who wouldn't? Or whatnot? Thor. If Doom is Sorcerer Supreme at this point, I would not go after him.
I don't think so.
That would be real problems.
Forget
Wolverine,
about it.
They already did
Spiderman.
I get it.
Ghost Rider. Nah.
I mean, I'm telling you, there's some problems. But
I like the way he says, "I've only got one request. This trophy belongs to me." And he showed it's got Spider-Man. Is it a card?
Kraven has tried so much at it. It's limited edition. I'm sitting there. If I'm Kraven, maybe I would go with the way of like, okay, here's what you need to do. And I would show them all the villains because you get them out of the way. Then you go after the heroes, and then he definitely controls things. But again, I think that maybe I'd show him Daredevil, maybe, Luke Cage. He's strong, but these are Predators, like street level characters. You don't need gods involved. That's too much. But even Captain America, I think a Predator could probably, I don't know, people could
I don't know. It'd be a good fight, though. It'd be good to see.
But Daredevil's up there. I'm like, yeah, take him. Like, what is he going to do? But yeah, they end up where he's like, and that's what I'm giving him, that place. So then we go to the blue area of the moon, which I don't think I've been privy to since the Empire Mini by Al Ewing, or that event that I did not like. There was a lot to do with the blue area of the moon. Yeah, exactly. So you end up having the Fantastic Four. This is where I think the joke is. And I think it's kind of funny. If you look at Johnny, they're doing some things, whatnot. And when they show Johnny, he's got the cup up to his mouth. And then he pulls it down. And I swear to God, the joke is, look, he doesn't have a mustache. That's all I think it is. It made me laugh, though, because I'm looking before and you kind of see him from behind, a little silhouette. You can kind of guess. But when they do show him straight up, he has the cup up to his face like it's hiding, so that when he goes, and then you could just laugh like, oh, thank God. And I swear to God, it's Ben Percy like, hey, when you draw Johnny, don't do that stupid mustache. I don't want it. And make a joke with it. Because he looks terrible, though. He's got like a 10 head, not a 4 head. That thing's huge. Look at that thing. Look at his eyebrows. It's weird. And even then, it's fun. You end up having reads like, hey, Johnny, put your finger in my coffee and get it up to 150 degrees.
Baby.
Yeah, and then Sue's like, Sue is her brother, and she's like, that's disgusting. I agree. Johnny has done things with centipede ladies. You do not need to know where that finger is. Reed says, "Oh, the heat ends up getting rid of that." I don't know about that. That's only 150 degrees. I'm
No
telling you.
germs on Johnny's
It's
fingers.
only for
Jim.
like 2 seconds. There's a lot of germs on those fingers. Plus, Johnny is definitely a guy who scratches his rear and smells it. I'm telling you, I'm not even being a guy. He definitely does that. And also, he's with a centipede. But you end up the centipede was just one of many. That guy will nail anything that's not nailed down already. And then they're drinking, a perfect cup of coffee.
What can you do? He's a player, Jim. He's a player.
He is a player with that mustache usually. Now people are starting to defend that mustache. I hate it. But so they're just having their grand old time on the blue side of the moon.
Having fun, having a coffee. The thing, Ben, he's too lazy to get up and
So
get
weird.
another sugar.
Yeah, Ben doesn't want to get the sugar, but also says he doesn't need it. But Reed insists like a jerk and then kind of uses a stretch Armstrong deal.
2 tablespoons of lunar sugar, right? It's like, Jesus,
really.
2 tablespoons.
Isn't it like lunar sugar? I'll tell you the idea where Tanya legit 5, like with that, like a 20-ounce coffee.
2 teaspoons, not tablespoons.
Yeah, she ends up with like 5 packs of sugar and a 20-ounce coffee that already has almost half of it a French vanilla creamer. So that's already got tons of sugar. It's crazy. I can't even get near it. But you end up where Reed's arm gets severed. And I do blame Ben for wanting that sugar, even though he didn't.
My God.
Oh, my God. Again, the big play, and I thought, I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four fan or a learned guy like maybe Ruben is. I'm not sure. But the idea where his arm gets severed, I'm like, wait a second, that shit doesn't really happen. He's got a lot of protections.
It's not supposed to, yeah.
It is
very, very difficult, yeah.
Exactly, and so that's big. But the thing is, it's crazy. We know it's the Predator. We know who it is.
We know who it is.
It's the Predators / Kraven. But they then just rip them apart.
They're cheating, aren't they, Jim, with the Predator tech? You got to say that. It's a bit of a cheat, isn't it, with everything?
And so they do start playing, and I do like the Kraven hunting type deal where, again, he's probably, Kraven in his spare time probably sitting there like, I wonder how I would kill the Fantastic Four. Let me think about it. He probably does stupid shit like that. So he ends up.
I like it when we get the heat vision view of the Fantastic Four. That's a pretty cool panel, and Johnny's like so bright, he's burning.
Yeah, he's burning, and Reed is bent over. But they do end up again in this. They do react very quickly, and like they're mad. They're going to attack. They are a family. That's mentioned by Kraven as he goes.
That's their strength. They fight together as a family. And yeah.
The thing that he knows their weakness, though, and I kind of agree. You have Reed. If you take out Reed and Sue, Johnny and Ben, I'm not saying that they're dumb or anything like that, but they will react in a way that they are just furious.
They're just emotional reaction.
Yeah, they're just going to go.
Totally.
They're not going to. It's not going to be tactical at that point. They're going to erupt, and they're going to try. And they use that to their advantage, and they end up just strangling Johnny and just like ripping his head off. And then Thing comes in, and they do say, "Thing is another thing." Not even a pun, but the idea he's not a guy who you're gonna like take apart. You have to get him out of there, and any way you can.
He's kind of indestructible, nearly indestructible. They describe him as, don't they?
You inject him, you jettison him into space. You just get rid of him.
He just gets booted out of the space station, doesn't he?
Yeah, and the problem is that the Predators want their trophies, so he has to say, you're going to have to give this one up. You can't have a trophy here. You're just going to have to get rid of him, or he'll just keep coming, and he's the powerhouse.
No rock skull for you.
Yeah, so they end up just shooting him into space. He goes off, and that's where you do have Sue. Sue didn't get killed. She was in her force field, but again, it took her out. They end up doing that to Reed to get Reed out, but that will also make it immediate where Sue will then try to help Reed, which then leaves Ben and Johnny to attack, and they're waiting for it. Johnny flaming on is not going to end up being any bit upsetting to them. They end up just strangling him, and then you have Sue still freaking out. Reed, I think this is a good read in this where he is saying, like, listen, I know I'm going to die, but I got to tell you, the shit that just went on, it is, the strength of my skin is at an atomic level, and they were able to sever it, so you're going to have to figure this out. Please do this, and he's trying to give her as much information before he dies. She keeps saying, rest, but he knows that he's done. he's bleeding out, and there's no way
Again,
to
it's an
stop
emotional
it.
moment, Jim, isn't it? She's like, stay with me, Reed.
Yeah, and then she says, "Rest, my love, rest." Puts him down. Now, I'm assuming is dead.
Yeah,
Who knows?
he's lost too much blood.
Sue's alive, so she's still there. I don't know if they're going to then kill her, whatever. Is she going to get out? But somebody's got to sound the alarm at some point. It might be Sue. I laughed, though. By the end, it says next extinction event. I'm like, I think that already started. And you have the two space like families. I mean, I consider the Guardians of the Galaxy that weird put together family. Then you get the Fantastic Four, and I think that the joke with Johnny's stash is one thing, but the balls that you end up where Ben Percy, I like it. Where Ben Percy's like, what's the big thing right now? Oh, the Fantastic Four have a movie. We're killing them in the first issue, and they go down
straight away. Yeah,
and that's cool. That makes it have stakes.
It does.
You know what I mean? Like they ended up where when Predator was in Manhattan with a few days to thrill, and he ends up going against Spider-Man. You know, Spider-Man's not going to die, even in an Elseworlds type deal. I don't know now. Like this sets everything up that shit. They killed the Fantastic Four. The Guardians of the Galaxy, what else is next? Like they're probably going to rip through it. And that's what you want in something like this. You want the Predators to be a threat. And they are. I mean, they're ripping through them. Now, the big thing in my mind, too, is they have the element of surprise, which
that's it.
Helps,
it makes sense.
Right?
That's why they attack the two space-based hero families, didn't they? So they can't warn people on Earth.
If Sue can get the word out and they
maybe
start
she can
preparing,
in time, but
then there's going to be the idea that, you know, with a little preparation, I think they'll be able to figure some
It's a hell of a
out.
cliffhanger, isn't it, Jim? Because it leaves us hanging with Sue, and it's like, how is she going to fight all 5 or 6 of them, the group of them with Kraven?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, she could put up a force field, but what are they going to do? Just surround her and wait?
Wait till she runs out of power?
It would be like with Darth Maul when the crazy laser walls came up.
Oh, yeah, those weird shields.
And
yeah,
it was
strange.
I did like I didn't really get it when that happened, but I did love the idea that it showed that Darth Maul was like a caged animal walking around and Qui-Gon would just sit there and meditate. I thought it was a really good way of playing that. So I wonder what they'll do with Sue. Darth Maul shouldn't have died so
She's
easily.
going to be even more pissed now. Reed. She's lost Reed. She's lost her husband.
And I think that...
And a brother.
Do you think somebody's going to be upset? Do you think that there will be? Because people were upset when Sue in the Ryan North #1 issue, the revamp deal, where she said, "I'm the leader." And in this, Kraven really plays out like, hey, Sue is one of the most powerful characters in all the world, whatever like that. I don't know why people get upset. I like when the heroes are pointed out to be pretty strong and whatnot. But boy, they get mad when Sue is propped up. And I don't know why. I thought everybody loved Sue. But it seems that they don't. They seem to like Reed being like, I think they want Reed to yell to Sue to make a pot pie or something. That would be like their favorite issue. Right? Like, make me a pot pie, bitch. And then she's like, what? And then she slaps him. And then all hell breaks loose. But there you go. But what would you give this?
Hell of an opening. You know, what a great opening. Really enjoyed it. Like, it's violent, but it's also doesn't forget to be funny. Who knew, Jim, that Benjamin Brooks has got a sense of humor? Hey, I do like the art. It's a bit goofy at times, but I like most of it. Yeah, I'm going 8.5. I really enjoyed it.
I'm 8.5. And did you look at the cover for next issue?
Yes. Oh my God. Spoilers.
It looks crazy.
Spoilers.
It looks crazy. I mean, at one point you're like, okay, the X-Men are there, but
X-Men.
Also Captain America, Iron Man. I mean, everybody's there. Colossus grabbing one of the.
It's a great cover, number 2. It looks awesome.
It looks great. It looks really good. So I can't wait for that. I'm actually liking this. I didn't like a lot of the other Predator stuff, but I do like this. I think it's really cool. And I think there's a lot of stakes to it and how they set it up and a little sense of humor. And also a letter from somebody from Louisville, Pennsylvania, which I would love to say is near me, but I've never heard of the place. I don't know what Louisville is. It sounds like it's a lot of crap, like York, PA. That's the best. It's like it's not York, so it's probably a little better. Not as bad as Scranton either. That place is a crap hole too. But yeah, so 8.5s from both of us. We like Daredevil enough. So this was a pretty good week. There's a lot of other books as well, but these are the ones we're covering. So that is it. Thanks for joining me as always, Gray. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me in Japan in the sea, swimming away.
in the sea. He's
Yeah.
also at the Wakazashi's tea house. I always know I have to. You son of a gun! I have to go.
No one's listening
and
to
let
this.
people
part,
tell you
Come
if
on.
you are still listening. Go to the show notes. And are you planning on reviewing any books this week?
I might review this actually, or I might do the
well, that'd be cool.
Uncle Scrooge. I'm
Uncle
not sure
Scrooge.
yet.
You actually did mention the Uncle Scrooge, and I think that would be something that
He
people
looks pretty
might
good.
want
I've
to
not read it
check
properly,
out.
but it looks good.
Yeah, so I'm going to check out a couple other things. And if you're not aware, Gray also does some stuff with me with DC. We do the absolute DC stuff every Friday night in a live stream on YouTube that happens around 7:15 Fridays, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also me and Gray have both a Grant Morrison and a Yasagi Yojimbo podcast on our Patreon. So check that out as well. But that is it, Gray. I was told by one guy who's in the know, that would be Matt, who is on the show as well, that his favorite song is your Gray AI outro. Everybody seems it's making a big comeback in the popularity. A lot of people.
Oh, is it?
You thought that it was being shade thrown by Double A Ron, but I don't think he was. People love it, but Matt definitely said it's the best song that has ever been on the podcast. So he loves it. So we're going to go out with that. But please look at the show notes. Check out Gray's YouTube channel, Wakazashi's Tea House. And that is it. So thanks, Gray. Thanks, everybody. And we'll talk to you all later.
して感謝しました。本当に大好きです。私は普通の男ではありません。私はもう本性の愛です。私にからかわないでください。そうしないとあなたは消えてしまいます。私は普通の男です。でも私はあなたを殺します。だからそのまま受け取ってください。足元に注意した方がいいよ。準備をしてください。フォローしないと大変なことになりますよ。私に伝わ